Hi everyone, it's Taylor. Welcome back to my channel. I'm an American expat living in Malaysia and I like to share my life and travels with you. Well, I thought I'd take a break from my packing, because you know I'm getting ready to move, to tell you about some other options for living in Malaysia besides the Peninsula MM2H. Sound interesting? Stay tuned. Well, I know a lot of my viewers were disappointed in the new MM2H rules for Peninsula Malaysia. And frankly, I was too. I think they're focusing more on trying to get rid of the excess property they have in Malaysia by requiring participants to purchase property. Now, I just don't see how this is going to work. My MM2H agent, Ultradomus, sent an email yesterday and they said, first of all, for existing MM2H holders, do not worry, you will be grandfathered in under the terms that you applied under. So that's good news, but that's always been the case, I think. They also said that they expect to be very busy with the new rules. So that means there is interest in the new program, even with the property requirement. They think people are really going to want it. It's not going to be the same people like me and a lot of my viewers who just don't have that kind of money, but it is going to appeal to some people. So good luck with that. But I wanted to talk about today other ways you could stay in Malaysia, or at least experience Malaysia. So I'm going to talk today about the Sarawak MM2H, which is a very attractive program, at least at the moment. Other ways to stay in Malaysia would be the digital nomad visa for 12 months, extendable for another 12 months, but that only takes care of 2 years. You could find someone and fall in love and marry a Malaysian, then you could get a spouse visa. That's probably not an option for everyone. You could bring your kids to go to school here and get an education visa. You can get a work visa if you can find somebody that will employ you, and it has to be like some job that Malaysian can't do or something. So those are pretty hard to come by, I think. And then there's the elite visa, which is for really rich people. And I'm not going to give the details on that because it's just not going to be interesting to most of my viewers. I'm going to put a link to Ultradomus, my MM2H agents, down in the description, and you can look up anything there. The final option of living in Malaysia, at least part-time, would be to just come for the 90-day stay on your tourist visa or visitor pass. Now, Malaysia gives 90 days to most countries, so that's an option. You could come and stay here for 3 months and then go back home or go to another country for a few months and then come back here for another 3 months. Now, I don't recommend just going for 3 months and then trying to go out for a couple days and then come back and get another 3 months. That may work, but it's going to make you nervous, and they can deny entry at any time. But if you're gone for a while between your 90 days, it should be okay. So that's an option too. So what is the Sarawak MM2H? Well, Sarawak immigration is separate from Peninsula Malaysia immigration, so they have their own program and own set of rules. And it's much more like it was when I applied back in 2014. So it's much less onerous. And I have heard that it can take over a year, but I've heard also that that's getting better, and it can be as little as 9 months. Now, I got this information from the Ultradomus website. So I'm trusting them as the most trusted MM2H agent in the country, I think, to have it right. But, you know, it still could be wrong. But anyway, let's assume they're right and go with what they're saying. So who can apply for Sarawak MM2H? If you're 50 years old and above, you can apply, and it doesn't even matter how old your spouse is. Or if you're 40 to 50, you can apply with a purchase of real estate in Sarawak. And that property needs to be at least 600,000 ringgit, which is like the program in the Peninsula. Now, if you're 30 to 50 years old, you can apply for ongoing medical treatments or for your children's education, but the education must be in Sarawak. Now, the financial requirements are much more like what I had when I applied. You need to make a fixed deposit of 300,000 ringgit for a couple, or 150,000 ringgit for a single applicant. And that's what I had, and it was really doable. Or if you have a pension fund of at least 7,000 for a single or 10,000 ringgit for a couple, that would work too, instead of the fixed deposit as I understand it. But then I think you have to make another proof of income, a one-time thing. Also, you can bring your parents or your children if they're under 21 years old. Of course, like all of them, it requires a medical checkup, but I didn't find that too onerous at all. I mean, my checkup in Penang last weekend was way more extensive, and I'm going to do a video about it soon. Now, since November of 2022, there has been stated in your acceptance letter that you must reside in Sarawak. Now, Ultradomus says this has not been enforced, but it could be in the future, so that could be a deal breaker. Although Sarawak is a lovely place to live, a little slower pace than the mainland, but still lovely and nice. And there's plenty of expats there too. Now, you can live anywhere in Malaysia, West Malaysia, Sarawak, but not Sabah, I think, because they have their own MM2H program. So you can live in West Malaysia or East Malaysia, but you have to spend 30 days a year in Sarawak. That's not too bad though, and you don't have to do it all at once. So you see, all hope is not lost. I mean, that is really possible. My new friend Eric, who I did not get to meet this time in Penang, I'm sorry Eric, but he just recently did the MM2H program from Sarawak, and I hope to interview him about it at some point. I hope that helps anyone. Now give it a look. I have the link below to the Ultradomus website. Now we'll talk briefly about the digital nomad visa, because I don't think my viewers are really particularly interested in that since they tend to be older. But yes, you can be a digital nomad here. And you can get it for 12 months, and it can be renewed for 12 months. Now, I think this is really more targeted to younger people who don't mind just living somewhere a year or two and then going elsewhere. Like I said, I just wanted to mention it as an option, and I'm not going to go into all the requirements. I also said, find someone to marry in Malaysia, and that'll work too for your spouse visa. And if your kids want to go to school in Malaysia, they can come in and they can get a visa, and you will be, part of their education visa. And as I mentioned earlier, the elite visa, which is just off the charts in expense for anyone I know. So I know a lot of you were really, really disappointed in the news, and I understand. But there's no reason to just think that there isn't some other way, especially as long as the Sarawak MM2H is available. I would encourage anyone to go for it, because it is really not that hard to get. And once you have it, I think you're always going to be grandfathered in, because it would be really unusual for them to make you qualify under the new plan when you qualified under an old plan. So that makes sense, and I'm happy about that. You can believe it. But after my last video being so doom and gloom, I thought I would bring some ray of hope to you all. Well, I hope today's information was helpful, and I hope it will make some of you reconsider abandoning Malaysia as your retirement home. There are other ways to do it. Now, as I said earlier, I'm in the middle of packing for my move, so I only had time to do a really short video this week, but actually this is the third one this week, so I think you won't be too upset about that. But I'll be back with my regular length videos in the near future, after the move, but I'll have something next week, I promise. If you enjoyed today's video, please like and subscribe, and check the notification bell too so you won't miss any of my future videos. I appreciate you all so much, and if you really want to thank me, buy me a coffee. The link's in the description below. But that's all I have for today. I gotta get back to my packing. Earl Grey's being a big help by playing in all the boxes. But that's all I have for today, everybody. Stay safe and well. Talk to you later. Bye.